All right, thanks everyone. And I know I've checked, can everyone hear me loud and clear? Yes. Can everyone see my screen? If you can see my screen, please drop 2 on the chat. All right, so people can see my screen as well. All right, thanks very much. Really appreciate. All right, thanks and welcome to today's I call it business analysis overview, as in what you need to know before you embark on your journey as a business analyst. And so today we'll be going through that, all the bits and pieces that needs to be known. But before that, a quick house rules. Please, if we are not talking, please, if we can kindly mute our mic. Everybody will have a chance to ask questions at the end of the session. At the end of the session, is either you type your questions on the chat, or you can raise your hand at the end of the session, and I will call you to ask your questions. So I'm going to start with my own little presentation, then I'll call on the facilitator that will be taking you on the journey to shed more light into a day in the life of a business analyst. And after that, I've got probably a couple of my ex-students that will, you know, say 1 or 2 things about the program or the process and all of that. Then we'll take questions at the end of the day. So that will be the order of the day. I don't hope to take too much of your time, but I hope it's beneficial to everyone at the end of the session. All right, so let's begin. Let me start by introducing myself. My name is Akin Oladeji. I happen to be the founder of Learn with Pride, and Learn with Pride has been going strong for going to 4 years now. So what we do is we help people that wants to transition from non-IT to IT space, regardless of what you're doing now, whether you're a customer service officer, whether you're a security officer, whether you are a sales officer, regardless of your background and regardless of your educational background as well, you know, we'll take you on a journey. We'll start from the very scratch and we'll take you on a journey. Uh, Meaning at the end of the process with us, you should be able to compete with people who has been doing it in the industry for 2, 3 years. The 3 months, the business analysis program is for 3 months, you know, and that includes the practical training, and you have the opportunity to work on a live project. While working on a live project, you are working as part of a team and you're working with the likes of project managers, business analysts, product owner, developers, testers, it will be a full team whereby you get all the hands-on experience that is needed. Because uh, despite the fact that we are giving you all the tools, support, mentorship, at the same time, you still need to uh, dedicate into the process. You need to dedicate your time, your effort, everything into the process. Because I do tell my students that your input is going to equal to your output at the end of the day. I said something earlier on that you should be able to compete with people who has been doing it in the industry for 2, 3 years. That can only be possible um, depending on the amount of time you devote into the process. So if you don't make it a Sunday medicine, if you don't stop where your facilitator has stopped in the class, if you go beyond that, at least every day commit 2 hours into the process every single day. By the end of the 3 months, you'll be amazed as into the extent of what uh, you will know. That's why even when you go for interviews and they start asking you a question, you'll be amazed that, oh, so I know these things because you've done them. You've gone through the practical training and you've done them as well. So transitioning, it's not about anybody can transition, to any discipline you want to in IT, as long as you are getting the support. And that is what we stand for. We'll give you the tools, we give you the support, we give you the mentorship that is needed to make that transition easier for you. And when I say that, I'm talking from experience as well, because I too transitioned from, my background was accounting, and I even have masters in accounting, but I was tired of what I was doing. I needed a change as well. And as God will have it, it was software automation engineer that came my own way, which is technical, that involves even you writing codes in programming language like C Sharp, you know. To cut the whole story short, I know I don't only do the job now, I train other people as well to become like me. And this is someone who has no technical knowledge before, but because I was devoted into the process, I know what I want. I'm not doing it because I saw my friend go a 500 pound throw as a business analyst and I want to do it. I was sure about what I wanted and I went for it. So as long as you're sure about what you want and you go for it, I can assure you, you have our 100% support. All right. So I have a few slides to share, and from there, so that I don't waste too much of your time. About business analysis role, I will leave this to the, SME, the subject matter expert, which is a facilitator that I'll be calling on later on to tell you more about all this journey. But let me go to the important, the aspect that really concerns my own presentation. Why a business analyst? Why do you want to go? Why do you want to consider a business analyst as your next career path? At the moment, most organization, requires a BA. And not only that, it is one of the occupation that is highly paid, you know, and we know COVID has done so many damages, but one of the advantages COVID brought our way is the ability to work remotely from any part of the world. Before COVID, it wasn't that, possible. But since after COVID, it has opened the eyes of companies to see that, what, we can recruit staff anywhere, and they'll still deliver what we want them to do. So whether you live in Nigeria, whether you live in Ghana, whether you live in Zimbabwe, you can secure a remote job from outside your local country, from outside your country. You can get a job in Australia remotely. You can get a job in the UK remotely. And you can see the average salary. I'm using UK as a point of reference, but this is applicable everywhere. For an average salary for a BA role in the UK is around 50K average salary. And if you are considering a contract, that you are the type that, what, I don't like to be permanent in one place. I just like to do short roles and just move on, look for the next one. Then you are looking at around 400, 450 a day. Imagine you are getting 450 a day, that is like 9,000 pounds per month. 9,000 pounds per month times, let's say your contract is 3 months or 4 months, times 4 months. That is still a lot of money, and you can get this much as well. Apart from the amount or apart from the pay, also IT business analyst is one of the shortage skilled worker in the UK. What that means is, if you are considering to travel abroad, or probably, in the near future, you want to consider relocating, you can, from your home country, it is possible after acquiring the skills, it is possible for you to get a job that will sponsor your visa to that country, to the UK. But you will never know until you put yourself in that position. And how can you put yourself in that position is by acquiring the knowledge. You need the knowledge and you need to put yourself in that space. There's a saying for the lottery that you have to be in it. You have to, is it be in it to win it or something like that? If you don't play a lottery, you can only assume that, oh, I played that lottery, I would have won 100 million. I did been, but you never played, you know? You never played. Same thing here. Oh, I have done that training. Probably I could have secured that role. You will never know until you take action. Until you take action, you will never know. That is important. Is knowledge is power. And when you are investing, going through this training is you investing in yourself. And no knowledge is lost. Trust me on that. So you can get a visa sponsorship, even if there's no visa sponsorship. As I said earlier on, you can get a remote job. Even for students, gone are the days that we rely on our parents, to give us allowance for schools, and all of that. As a student, you can take off short contracts, to cater for your needs in school, But before you can do that, you need to acquire the knowledge. And that is where we come in. I've said this as well, ability to work remotely as well, anywhere in the world, any part of the world, regardless of where you are. And that is one of the things that made us that this training will be remote, and even you working on the project will be remote. Why going through this process remotely? You are learning as well, because I'm sure one of the key things for people transitioning is because they want to be able to work remotely. When you are working remotely, that means all your teams might be scattered all around the world, but you are the only one in your house. You are connecting with your teams probably via Teams, probably via Zoom. You know, every project you are doing is remote. You don't need to go physically. And that is what we are trying to get people used to as well, so that when you eventually land that role, working remotely will not be new to you, because you've gone through the training, you've done the project, everything was remote, so it's not new to you as well. Again, it's in high demand. I said this earlier as well. It's really in high demand as well. So if you come on board, if you join us on this journey, what we build, what is it going to be the roadmap? We have a structure that we follow, you know. So let's take it one by one. The first one is the training. The whole program is for 3 months, but you are going to embark on, I think 4 to 5 weeks practical training, which is going to be twice a week. I think Thursday, I think 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. UK time, and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. But as I said, the training might be twice a week for 5 weeks. But that doesn't mean you should limit your own personal training to twice a week. It is a journey, and you have to undertake it every single day. At least minimum of 2 hours needs to be committed into the process every single day. So the training will be 4 to 5 weeks, twice a week. And the remaining 2 months will be you working on a live project with other team members, And so that will be the training path, right? And the tutor or the facilitator that will be taking you on the journey, as many years you'll see when I call him on board to talk, as many years when it comes to working as a business analyst. And he has taken many people on the same journey that he wants to take you, and some of them are on the call to testify to that as well. So if you are ready for the work, you get everything that is needed for your transitioning from us. So as I said, the training will be for 5 weeks thereabout, and after that there will come a project whereby you work with probably cross-functional team and in an agile setting. Agile methodology will be used. So that means when it comes to all the agile rituals like daily stand-up, sprint planning, sprint review, sprint retrospective, everything will be observed when you start the project, So your dedication, your commitment will be needed. I understand everyone is busy. Everyone is doing 9 to 5. Because you are transitioning doesn't mean you want to resign. And no, I understand. And we've all got families. But at the same time, we need to make a sacrifice to make this work. We might do our part, but this is a 50-50 arrangement. You know, if we do our own 50% part and you don't do yours, that means you still complain at the end of the day. But if we do our own 50% and you do your own 50%, then you see the result at the end of the day. So when it comes to the project, don't be a backbench sitter, or how do they put it? Be active. Any team you find yourself, be active. There might be conflict. It is part of the process. It is part of the story you tell when you start attending interviews. But when it comes to project, please don't let your team members be chasing you all around. There is a reason you want to come on this process. Everyone has got their own reason. Please try to pull your weight. Anywhere you find yourself, try to pull your weight, because it is what you learn that you can defend at the interview. And one of the purpose of going through this process is for you not to lie at the interview, because you've actually done it before. You know, you are not following what you read on Google, because the way it's done at workplace is different from what you read on Google. You know, you can convince the interviewer that, you know what, I've done this thing and this is how I did it. But if you don't partake, there will be no story for you to tell. At the bottom of the slide, you can see certification alone cannot get you the job. You need hands-on practical experience. Many people will come to me, oh, do you give certification, or what professional certification should they write and all of that? Me personally, or the company personally, we don't preach certification. It's a good thing to have, fine. But going by personal experience, having 10s, 20s different certificates without the right knowledge and experience, you know, you will not get the job. The certificate will just be sitting under your pillow, you know. But the knowledge and experience, even without the certification, can still get you a role. And that is what we preach. That is what we stand for, you know. So that is that about projects. The next is optimization of your brand. Now that you've done the training, you've done the project, you have what it takes now. But if you are not visible in the marketplace, nobody will see you and nobody will call you. Recruiters will not reach out to you. And you'll be wondering, why? I've got my CV, I've done the training, I've done the practicals, I know how to act as a business analyst, but I'm not getting the roles, I'm not getting the calls. It's because you are not visible enough in the market. So for A and B to work, for the training and the project that you've gone through to work, you need to optimize your brand. Meaning your CV, you know, your CV will speak for you even before the recruiter sees you, you know. So that means your CV needs to go through revamping. Also, if you are not on LinkedIn, or if your LinkedIn is not optimized, that has to be done as well, because LinkedIn has become a professional marketplace that the recruiters goes to now to recruit. So you have to be present on all the job sites. Your CV needs to be uploaded and make searchable as well, you know. But the CV part we don't undo, but we can refer you to the company we partner with that can help you with the CV, optimize it, rebrand it, and put you in that position that recruiters will see you and reach out to you, you know. But that is something to consider if you're coming on this journey as well. After optimization of your brand, so that means you've done the training, you are good with the project, you have the experience now, you've optimized your brand, then you start applying for jobs. Even sometimes you don't apply for jobs because you are visible in the market, recruiters can see you and they will reach out to you or they will call you, you know, because it's not all jobs that is being posted online. They just go on, sometimes the recruiters go online to search for CVs with the keywords, and call them if they meet the criteria. So that is how it works. After applying for jobs, then you start getting interview calls, right? This is another aspect that we help with. We help you with the interview preparation, because it's not only about collecting the money for you for the duration of the 3 months. No, we create a community together. We create a last long relationship together. And we believe if you are able to secure a role, then someone will ask you that how did you do it? Then you can refer us, which is the most important to us. So we hold you by hand. Quickly, what our package covers is, you go through the practical training. Sorry about that. So again, what our package covers, you go through the practical training, the live project, the mentorship, you get our support, the interview preparation, then you get a reference from us. iPhone, please stop writing on the screen. You're using iPhone, please stop writing on the screen. Also, yeah, so lastly, you get a reference from us for the duration that you are with us. So for the 3 months duration, you get a reference from us, which is very, very key as well. All right, so that is how we support. That is how the journey will look like if you are to come on board. And the next slide is just to show you the sample job posts out there to see how much they're actually paying. The first one you can see is paying between 75 to 90K. The second one is paying 80K to 100K. I recently I think was it last week, one of my automation guys secured the role. He's never done the role before. He's never, he only passed through this process as well. His starting salary was 65, but if you are to add the benefit that he's going to get at the end of the year, it's around 75,000. This is someone who was on 35,000 before per annum. It was like a dream. It was like a miracle to him, as in he couldn't believe they could offer. And it wasn't even him that they offered him. He didn't say, oh, this is what I want to get. They offered him that amount. It's like someone should pinch him to wake up from the sleep. He couldn't believe. Still up till now, he can't still believe that they gave him that role. So as I said, you can only put yourself in such a position if you have the right skills, if you have the right knowledge, if you've gone through the experience to know how everything gel together, how business analysts work with the developer, how everybody works or interacts in a team, and that is what you are getting if you are to come on the process. The second one, you can see this is a contract role. The first one is a contract role paying 650 to 725 per day. Let's just say 600 per day. If you are getting 600 pounds per day, that is 12,000 pounds per month. Let's say this contract is just for 3 months, 12,000 times 3. That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. And you'll be seeing this figure and be saying, can I actually get this? Use me as your example, because I've once in that position as well. I've done all odd jobs, and if I see amount like this, I'll just laugh to myself. How can I get this amount? Until someone showed me the way. And the way they showed me was the training that I undertook back then. And the rest is a story today. And that was even what gave birth to the company called Learn with Pride today. So don't think you cannot get this amount. With hard work, dedication, you can get it. You get to a stage whereby you command what you earn. You might be scared. I understand you might be scared at the very beginning that, oh, don't let me overshoot my shot or something like that. Let me go for minimum. That's fine. If you want to go for minimum, that's fine. But you acquire that knowledge. Time will come that when you apply for your next role, you tell yourself that I cannot get minimum, I can't get less than 60,000 for my next role, because you are confident about yourself, you know? So that is the, all right, I'll attend to the chat later on. All right, so yeah, not to waste much of your time. If you want to come on this journey with all our support, mentorship, reference, community that you're going to belong to, because you need it, you know? You need to create that community, because you never know who that person is that will help you tomorrow. So with whichever team, whichever group you find yourself, you know, don't see them as a stranger. Instead, you know, form a community that you can go to anyone. So for everything that, you know, you'll be getting from this process, the cost is actually $4.99. But if you are enrolling today, then you get a 20% discount from the cost. Actually, today is Saturday. Okay, let's extend it to end of Monday, end of play on Monday, close of play on Monday. So if you are applying between now and close of play on Monday, you get a 20% discount on the actual cost. But after Monday, you get 10% discount on the actual cost. And the good thing is, even after the 20% or after the 10%, it's not everything that is due at once. Only half is required to start on the journey, and the other half can be paid within 4 to 5 weeks, but it has to be settled before you are placed on a project. The full amount has to be paid before you are put on a project. So if you want to come on the journey, one slide is missing, but I'll put it later, where you can get the contact, the WhatsApp number, and the Instagram that you can message. I'll put that up later after the facilitator has finished talking. So if you want to subscribe today, you have, you know, 20% discount. Honestly, you will not regret the journey. It will be the best money that was well spent, you know. And you know, you are investing in yourself. You know, someone else might call you from something has happened, emergency, we need money. You give them money. But how much have you actually spent on yourself when it comes to development? When it comes to something that will impact your life positively so that it can take you from point A to point B? How much have you spent on yourself? You know, so I'll be stopping my, you know, talking for now, and I would like to introduce you to, you know, the facilitator that will be taking you on the journey. As I said, he has got many years of experience when it comes to taking people from point A to point B, and when it comes to working the job as well. His name is Genesis, and I'll call on him to tell you more about the journey, what the journey will entail, what and what will be covered, and anything else that he wishes to share with you. So without further ado, Genesis, can you please unmute yourself and take it from here? Thanks.
All right, thanks, Aki. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Maybe let me say Happy New Year to us. Although I pretty much don't know so many people here, but I'm hoping that in the coming months we'll become friends and we'll get to know each other a lot. So, welcome to the TASER session. I think I've done a lot of justice to giving a background to what business analysis, the opportunities that that we have in business analysis in the job market, how it's in high demand, and not just it being in demand, also being profitable, being a rewarding career. I've been a business analyst for over 6 years, and I can tell you for free that it's been a very wonderful experience for me. From the very moment I made a decision to switch from the social enterprise industry to the IT industry, it's been very, very rewarding. So I'm going to be your facilitator for the program, but today just give like a sneak peek of what just bring you to speed what business analysis is, just a fresher kind of, so you understand what business analysis is and the career you'll be going into, what it entails. So I'd like you guys to confirm if you can see my screen before I commence. So let me know. Anyone can just type a yes if you can see my screen, or a Y. Oh, thanks. Okay, thank you so much. So it's going to be very, very brief. 10-15 minutes should be done with this. It's just to give you an overview, a background, what business analysis is and what to expect. So we're looking at, we'll just look at what business analysis is to understand what it is. Why do companies actually need business analysts? I know Akin has come from the aspect of, trying to solve problem and why companies need business analysts to help them because of the remote work and all of that. But we'll look at it also from a business analysis standpoint. And also, there have been so many misjudgments about business analysis because people compare business analysis to data analysis and also compare it to business development. So I'll just take 2 or 3 minutes to clear those myths and give you a better understanding of what business analysis is, how it differs from this. And then we'll look at how can you actually become a business analyst? What are the benefits you stand to gain being a business analyst? But before I go ahead, a quick introduction about myself. My name is Genesis Semonyoku. I'm a senior business analyst and the team lead for products with Rover. As I mentioned earlier when I was doing introduction, for everyone here, I happen to be like you at some point or the other. I didn't start my career in IT. Actually, I started my career as a book editor, helping to edit books that will be published for primary school and secondary school students. Before I gradually from there went into the non-for-profit sector, the NGOs, worked for several years as a program manager, as a program officer in NGOs. Thereby, at some point in my career, I felt like, okay, I think I need to actually get into IT, and which career in IT would help me find my feet and also scale. And business analysis was the thing at that moment. So I had to learn business analysis through rigorous process. It wasn't actually easy. And after learning, I gave myself time to actually practice. As Aki mentioned, you need to put in the work. You don't expect the knowledge you gain from class to get a job for you alone. The knowledge is a complementary aspect to the work you're going to put in. I mean, putting in the work, that's where we have the project for you to actually get your hands dirty, to work hard, to learn, to ask the questions. Every question you need to ask them, because that's a period for you to build confidence that will help you approach your interviews and nail those jobs. So I learned the practice and all of that at that period in time, and I got my first job. And since then, I've been going from one job to other, one role to other. And today here I am as a thought leader in business analysis in Nigeria. I'm a director of the International Institute of Business Analysis, Nigerian chapter. And also, I've been able to mentor and guide several business analysts in the past 3 to 4 years in securing roles both in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, in the UK, in North America, and South America as well. So that is just a brief introduction about myself. By the time we start the program, you get to know more about me, and we get to know how we can help each other to scale in our endeavors and also in our passion to become a business analyst. What basically is business analysis? I wouldn't want to make this a question and answer because of the time constraints. So I'll just go ahead to give a brief explanation of or a best way to explain business analysis to you. So business analysis basically is the practice of driving or enabling change in an organization. It could be an organization, it could be in a team, right? It could be in a company, it could be within an enterprise. So let's say a team, you have a project team, a team you're working with to deliver on the project goals, on the project objective. Your ability to drive change within that team makes you a business analyst. It could be an organization, right? Let's say Learn with Pride as an organization. Your ability to drive change. It could be when you come into business, Learn with Pride and you start the business analysis training, you realize that, oh, there's something that is missing in this organization. And I believe if Learn with Pride can change this thing, right, or improve upon this thing, they can increase their revenue, they can become more efficient, they can become high performing, right? Or they can be able to acquire more customers. So your ability to drive those change, to enable those change in an organization, in a team, in an enterprise, in a company, by first identifying what the needs are. Now, the needs could be a problem that you've seen. Another need could be an opportunity. I used to have a friend who has moved to the US recently, and he told me that when he was growing up, a young man told him that his ability to be able to identify problem and opportunity is what would make him an entrepreneur. And he held on to those principles. And wherever he finds himself, I remember the time he came to Lagos and he came to visit me, that was 2 years ago. He began to ask me, Genesis, what problem within your vicinity have you been able to identify since you've been living here for over 3 years? And I began to laugh. I was like, hey, Bartholomew, let's not go into this principle of yours. So that is just the beauty of business analysis, your ability to identify needs, to define the needs that an organization is facing. It could be a problem, it could be an opportunity. And you don't just stop by defining the need or defining the problem or the opportunity, but you go ahead to recommend a solution. Right? You recommend a solution to that opportunity. You recommend a solution to that problem. And you ensure that the solution you are recommending actually delivers value to the people that will be affected by that solution. So, and those people that will be affected by that solution, we call them stakeholders. So your ability to identify or to drive a change within an organization, and how do you drive that change? Identify what the problem is or what the problems are, then recommend a solution to those problems or recommend a solution to those opportunities, and ensure that the solution you're recommending actually delivers value to stakeholders. If you are able to do this thing in whatever industry or company or organization you find yourself, you can boldly call yourself a business analyst. And that is what business analysis is all about. That's what we do for companies. That's what we're doing for businesses over the years, since business analysis became a career field on its own. Being able to pinpoint what they need is, recommend a solution, and ensure that it's value delivered by that solution. So why do companies actually need business analysts? A typical example is a picture we're having here today. For every company is divided into two, right? We have the front office or the front facing that helps in securing business deals, which is the sales and marketing and all of that. The guys are in the business units that helps to secure deals, get customers, acquire customers, ensure we are compliant and all of that. We have all of those people. We call them like the business stakeholders, right? And we actually have those that are in the back door, right? More or less like back office, those that are basically building the products, right? Let me give a good example. We know Innoson manufactures cars in Nigeria. So we have those that go out to talk to customers, or those that go to meet the government and say, the federal government say we need 5,000 SUVs for the for Aso Rock Villa, for the president's motorcade and all of that. So once that agreement has been reached, or that contract has been signed by the federal government between federal government and Innoson, the business guys then come to the manufacturing plants to meet the engineers to say, okay, federal government said they need 5,000 SUVs. We need you guys to produce that 5,000 SUVs for us within the next 3 months, or within the next 1 year, or within the next 6 months, depending on the time frame. Most times, the business stakeholders don't really know how to communicate the intricacies of what is needed or what is required by the client, being the federal government. So the federal government is the client, the salesperson within Innoson is a business-minded person, and then the automobile engineers are the technical guys that physically build, construct, manufacture, and also finish the bodywork of the car and all of that, test it before it's being taken to the clients. So most times the business don't really know how to communicate to the technical team or to the technical stakeholders, and that brings some sort of difficulty in understanding, difficulty in communication gap, right? The business guy says this thing needs to be done this way, and this was what I told you. The technical guy says, yes, you told me this, and this was how I translated this, right? And both of them are they are right in their own side, because they see things from different perspectives, and that is why companies saw that there is a gap within the communication and understanding or connection between business and technical, and thereby the need for business analysts came to bear, right? Business analysts basically came on to help ensure that communication gap between the business and the back office, which is the technical team, is bridged. So they come to bridge the gap to ensure that there is effective understanding. So bridging the gap between the business and IT, or bridging the gap between back office and front office, is what business analysis does, or is what business analysts do. What we do is that we come in to understand the business. When we understand the business and what the business needs, we then ensure we represent or transform those business requirements into technical requirements or technical documentations or technical information that would help the engineers or the technical guys to be able to understand effectively what the business is saying. So that is the job, or that is why companies basically need business analysts, and they are highly recruiting business analysts on a weekly, monthly, daily basis to help them foster that communication. And that is why communication is a very strong skills for you to have as a business analyst. Your ability to understand what the business is saying and know how to translate it to a software developer or an engineer or a technical person, right? That is why companies basically recruit or hire business analysts. So what do we do as business analysts? One of the things we do on a day-to-day basis or in a typical project would be to understand the problems of the business, and also understand the goals or the opportunities that the business have, and thereby we go about analyzing these needs and the solutions, right, of the problem. In analyzing the needs, we use different tools, we use different techniques that are available in business analysis. A good example is root cause analysis. Another one is using Ansoff metrics. Another one is using process models. There are different tools and techniques. You can also use workshops, personas, so many tools and techniques that we can use to analyze what the need is and what should be the possible solution to that need. And after we've been able to analyze that, we then devise the strategy for improvement. So we've been able to understand at the point of analysis, we are trying to compare the problem to the solution to look for the best fit, right? In doing that, we now come up with a strategy that will be used to improve that problem, which is basically the strategy that the solution would take. So what will be the best strategy for us to solve this problem? Or what will be the best strategy for us to use to approach this opportunity? And after that, we now drive the change. We don't just, there are some people that say they are consultants, and then after coming up with everything, the recommendation, they just dump the work at the table of the client, and the client begins to implement the solution themselves. No, but as a business analyst, your job do not just stop at where you recommend the solution. You're also involved in implementing. It means that when the engineers are building that product, or they're building that solution, or they're building that software application, you are also part of the engineering guys. You're not writing the code, but you are the one ensuring that they are doing the things that you have told them to do. So you are there driving the change, facilitating meetings, speaking to stakeholders to ensure that there's proper alignment in all that is being done. And then the last thing you now do is to facilitate stakeholder collaboration, ensuring that stakeholders are in constant tune and alignment with what the business goal and what the business objectives are. Now, that takes us to the next slide that talks about some of the misjudgments, right, that people have about business analysis, or that is some of the myths, because people think business analysis is the same with business analytics. Even some people, you see some job descriptions out there that they put up in some of these job boards, and you see them putting business development job descriptions as, or job requirements as business analysis job requirements. These three careers are actually different from each other. But the fact that they all start with business doesn't mean that they are the same thing. Because business analysis focuses on understanding the need, functions and processes, and then recommending solutions of value to stakeholders. Whereas business analytics focuses on data and reporting to examine past business performance and predicting future business performance. And then business development basically is a lot more focused on sales and marketing, developing quotes and proposals for prospective clients. These are some of the distinct differences between business analysis, business analytics, and business development. In business analysis, we are a lot more focused on the need. Business analytics is focused on the data and how can I report this data, right, to management. While business development is a lot more focused on how can I get more clients? How can I tweak my proposals? How can I work on the quotations for clients so that I can get more deals into the room? Business analysis rely on qualitative and quantitative data for them to do their day-to-day work. What I mean here is that qualitative information, like information from people, informations that you can't have any statistical formula to explain it, right? They are qualitative data, and also rely on quantitative data they capture from the field, or maybe quantitative data from systems. But business analytics on its own purely relies on quantitative data. Business analytics needs like sales data in this year, how did we perform on sales, how many products did we sell, and all of that. And then they plot a graph, or they do some statistical extrapolation for them to come up with why our sales were dropping for the year, or why sales dropped for the quarter, and all of that. That is what business analytics does. In business development, they really do not too much of data or information proving, but they rely on researching of prospective clients and also target markets that they can further market business opportunities to. So there are several differences between these three roles. And these three roles can work in an IT field as well, and they can work in any field as well, whether it's IT or medical or manufacturing or whatever. But I want you to have it at the back of your mind. If someone approaches you tomorrow and say, what is the difference between business analysis, business analytics, or business development? Or you tell somebody that I want to learn business analysis, and the person begins to say, oh, business analysis, well, how does it differ from business analytics, right? Or business development? You'll be able to know that all of these things are different, because in business analysis, we are a lot more focused on solving a need, understanding what the need is, right? Recommending solutions for the need, implementing that solution, and ensuring that that solution delivers value. Whereas business analytics is a lot more focused on the data. What is the data talking about? How can I use statistical formulas and equations to extrapolate or make sense of the data I'm seeing? And how can I report it to management? So let's go ahead and look at how you can basically become a business analyst. It's pretty easy, right? Even as I'm saying, it's pretty easy, but it requires a lot of work. First thing is for you to have that passion, right? If you do not have passion for anything, for whatever thing you are doing, you will not put in the work, right? If you are not passionate about leaving your current role and scaling and becoming a business analyst, right? Or transiting to business analysis, you will see that you will not put in the necessary work that is required. So you need to grow passion for business analysis, grow the passion to become a business analyst, to become a critical thinker, to solve problems for businesses and for organizations. Sorry, can someone please mute your mic? Yeah, thank you. So grow that passion to solve problems for people, solve problem for businesses, find solutions to their problem, and then get paid for that solution you are recommending, right? And then the next thing will be for you to get quality training, and not just a quality training, but a practical training. Business analysis is not something you just learn theoretical. Some people train business analysis for 1 week. Some people train business analysis for 4 days. Some even use a whole day to do business analysis training. But the difference between those training and the training you're going to be going through is that by the time they are done, after 2 weeks or a month, they forget everything because it's all definition and description. They learn for maybe 5 hours or 4 hours or 8 hours. But when you get a practical training, it means that you've learned it and you've been made to practice it, right? They say practice makes perfect, right? You've learned it, you've been made to practice it. It's just like, for instance, I tell you, come on, let me teach you how to drive a car, right? And then in telling you that I want to teach you to drive a car, I'll teach you how to drive a car for 1 week. And the first day you come, I take you to the chalkboard and then I teach you different parts of a car, how to start a car. I'm drawing everything to you on the board. I'm just playing a video for you and I'm drawing it on the board for you, right? How to drive a car, how you should put your hand on the steering, and I draw a steering and how you should hold your hand. The second day, I'll tell you some traffic rules, teach you all of those theory. I teach you theory for 5 days. If they take you and put you in a car, you won't be confident enough to move that car, right? Because all you've just learned is just head knowledge, right? But if I say, let me teach you how to drive a car in a week, and then you come in the first day, I teach you everything about a car, how a car functions, traffic rules, and all of that. Then in the second day, I take you to my car, and then I drive you along the road. By driving, I'm also explaining to you as I'm driving, and you're watching as I'm driving and all of that. Then the third day, I tell you I ask you to drive me while I guide you how to move along. Then the fourth day, I ask you to drive me. Fifth day, I ask you to drive me. You realize that at the end of this 1 week, if someone takes you and puts you in a car, you have some sort of confidence that, yes, I can actually move this automobile. I can actually move this car from point A to point B without having an accident, without fidgeting along the road. So that is why it's very important for you to get a quality practical training to help you to find your feet in business analysis. And then after the training, you don't just rely on that practical training, you also ensure that you practice, you get your hands dirty, you gain that hands-on experience. This program is for 3 months, right? You don't just say after the 3 months, I'll just be there and wait until I get a job. No, you can start up pet projects, start working on some projects that could help you further your understanding, get more insight about business analysis. And then you mentorship. Mentorship is very, very important because the fact is, where you're actually going at the moment, someone has been there, people have been there, several people started where you are today. I know someone who read public health, and today she's a senior business analyst. She has over 7 years experience in business analysis, a friend of mine, but she read public health. So irrespective of whatever area, I know of someone who studied zoology in school, and today she's a software engineer. And that's all due to getting the quality training, practicing with experience, and getting mentorship. Mentorship is very, very important. Being able to have someone to guide you on the job, tell you the kind of offers you should take, guide you on what to do, when you are given a job, tell you how to approach that task, and all of that is very, very important. And then the last of it is, by the time you get your job, you now grow your career from there gradually and gradually. So what are the benefits of being a business analyst, right? Number one is that you won't happen to be doing a repetitive work, unlike many other careers that you'll be doing repetitive work day to day. So there's no repetitive work. You have the title of the business analyst, but you wear many professional hats. You also have a job market that is exploding by the day, that is craving for demand for business analysis. Business analysis pays a lot, just as I can have showed you guys from different job boards, or should I say job posting that he shared when he was making his presentation. It allows you to be independent and flexible. Business analysis gives you the opportunity not to be micromanaged by whoever is your team leader thereafter, because it gives you the flexibility to actually spread your tentacles, to speak to different stakeholders, to meet a lot of people. It gives you opportunity to meet a lot of stakeholders. You'll be talking to owners of businesses, founders, CEOs, senior management, executive sponsors. Business analysis gives you the opportunity to spread your tentacles, to relate to different stakeholders. Also, it's never a dull moment, right? As I said, you're not doing anything repetitive as a business analyst. Today, you might be having a workshop session. Tomorrow, you are racking your brain to come up with a creative way of solving a problem. The other day, you are talking to clients, talking to stakeholders, talking to customers. Another day, you might be talking to software engineers and explaining how they should implement or build that product that the team needs to launch. And then finally, it helps you to utilize your past experience and knowledge. The beauty of business analysis is that no matter what you are doing currently, you will certainly use your experience in the present in business analysis. So that basically brings me to the end of the presentation. By the time we meet in class, you get to know much more deeper. There are a lot of things about business analysis, and you get to learn the tools, the techniques that you're going to use to solve problems for businesses and then get paid for solving problems. All right, thank you so much. Akin, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Genesis. All right. Please, if you have any questions, you can start raising your hand now, and I'll be calling you shortly. So if you have any questions, please, you can start raising your hand now, and shortly I will call you. But next, I want to call, I think I've got a couple of my ex-student online who they've gone through the process, not only gone through the process, they've secured a role as well. So I'm going to call on the first person. Not only did she secure the role, she secured a role with a sponsorship visa that, that they are ready to sponsor her visa. So I'm going to call on Olubukola, if you can unmute yourself and just share your testimony, and let's hear. Thanks.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody.
Good
Sorry,
afternoon.
can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thanks. Afternoon, my name is Olubukola. Okay, so I went through the training. That was the first cohort, and while we were doing the training, in fact, the first day it just seemed surreal, like, okay, giving all this information, is it true? Could this be real and all that? And I can tell you, like, I have experienced this, and I can tell you on 150% that it's very real. So while we're doing the training, like about a month into the training, I can advise us to update our LinkedIn profile, get our CVs done, and try to start applying for jobs and all that. And well, I did that. At first, we were getting a lot of unfortunately mails like, yeah, I'll call and say, this is what's happening. And it would be like, it happens, just keep trying. So as we kept learning, we'll do the classes with Genesis and then do self-study as well, trying to practice, do the project as well. And it was all coming up, and I was applying for jobs, and one day I got a mail from PwC asking me to pick a date for an interview, and I was just shocked. And my journey with PwC started. Then the first interview, I was so nervous. I wasn't even sure what I was doing. But during the interview, I realized, so the interview happened about a month or two thereabouts after we just finished the course when the interview came up. And while I was doing the interview, I wasn't even sure I knew anything. I wasn't sure I learned much. But while answering the questions during the interview, I realized what we were taught in class and the project we did. Like it really helped me to tell my story to my interviewers. I was able to answer their questions, their scenario questions. I was able to answer like I've been doing the job for ages. And I proceeded to the second interview. I got the job. I got my sponsorship with PwC and all that. So to summarize the whole talk is if you do the training and you put your everything in it, like you do it with the mindset that you want to upskill yourself and you're not just doing it for doing sake, you would definitely 150% get the result of it. Like I'm a living testimony to it, so I'm not just giving you Bobo. So I currently work with PwC, and they sponsored my CS2 visa. So like yeah, I was on post-study student visa, and they sponsored my visa. So and I'm working with them, and they are paying well. And it was just from a 3 month training. That was all I did. It was just 3 months training and project. So if you actually if you're serious with the training, you'd really learn a lot from it. That person. So that's about it for me. If you have any questions.
Yeah, thanks, Tola. As I said, if you have any question, please raise your hand in the chat and I'll call you. I'll be calling you shortly. So if you have any questions, queries, concerns, please identify from the chat by raising your hand, or you can drop your message, your question on the chat as well. All right. While doing that, I'll call on the second person quickly. She has gone through the same process and she is currently working as a business analyst as well. Tola, you can unmute yourself and talk.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ayotola. Just like Bukola, I joined the first cohort for the business analyst in July, and it was a wonderful process. And for me, I made new friends and I got to understand what being a business analyst was. Right after the procedure of the classes and everything, I started applying for my job. I didn't do it during the process. I got a lot of rejection, literally almost every day. But then I would call Mr. Aki and I'll complain to him that I don't know what's going on and what's happening. But it just kept encouraging me. And I literally did nothing less than 20, applications. And I had like 4 interviews back to back. But then I just got a job, and everything that we did in the class was basically the questions they asked me. And when I wanted to prepare for the interviews, I was able to connect with the facilitator, Mr. Genesis and Mr. Aki and my friend Bukola. So they were able to help me. So for me, the program, the course was very beneficial for me because I learned a lot and I made new friends and new family. The only thing that I would advise would be that if you really think this is something you want to do, you have to give your all, especially when it comes to the project. You're going to work with different people and not everybody on your business analyst team will do what they're meant to do. But like Mr. Akin mentioned earlier, it's a learning process because when you're working in an agile environment, you would go through the same problems. So just everything you encounter, just take it as a lesson and everything will be fine. And I will be starting my work pretty soon. And I'm excited I went through the program and I've definitely told almost everybody that I know about the benefits of working with Learn with Pride. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Tola. Really appreciate that. I made mention about forming a community, right? Don't see people on your group or team as a total stranger. Instead, make friends with them, because you never know who's going to help who in the future. So again, please, if you have any question, don't be shy to raise your hand. You know, we are here to learn and to share knowledge together. So no, there's nothing like a wrong question, you know. So just ask your question. Anything that you are not sure of, just ask. Let me quickly go through the chat. Pa, 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 pa. Okay, before I come back to Genesis questions, let me take this one. Could you please throw more light on the live project? What does it mean? Okay, so the 3 months, it's divided into like two segments. The first segment is where you pass through the practical training, where industry standard tools will be introduced. You know how to, what the role of a business analyst entails. You know, it will be a practical training for like 5 weeks, thereabout, twice a week, you know. Then after that, remember, you've only gone through a training, a practical training. Then the project is now where you now act as a business analyst, as part of a team to deliver a solution. So take, for example, you might be working on an e-commerce and you might be the only business analyst on that project that needs to gather requirements, you know, translate that requirement to acceptance criteria, do the roles of a business analyst to make sure that at the end of your sprint, at least you are able to deliver, a solution. So that is it. So whatever you've learned in that 5 weeks period, you now need to put it into use. You now need to act as it. You'll be acting as it. Now you are not on a training, you know? Now you are acting as a business analyst. And that is the only reason why I'll be able to give you a reference at the end of the journey, because you've done the job as well. And the project you'll be working on, their live project, because of people that we are in partner with, give us 1 or 2 things to work on. So the project will be about, you'll be working on, it will be a live project. You know, it now depends on you how, how you want to take it. You know, if you take it serious, then you see the impact, you see the result at the end of the day. But if you don't take it serious, like you are not always available for meetings, they chase you around, you are not getting things done, you are dragging your teams backward, it will show at the end of the journey as well. You know, so that is what project is. You have a practical training and you have a project that you work on. All right, I hope that has answered that question. Genesis, this is for you. Could you please differentiate between a product owner and a BA? And this is due to some information you have given while presenting. Actually, you might be acting as both on the project. All right, Genesis, over to you for this question.
All right, thanks. Thanks. Let me know who asked the questions.
Ademi.
Okay, thanks, Ademi. Ademi, yeah. So the detail of it, and to answer your question, I've basically taken up both roles. I've been a business analyst in some projects, and also some companies I've worked for them as a product owner. Also worked for some other companies as a product manager. Currently, I'm a team lead for a product team with a company in UK, but I'm based in Nigeria anyway. So what is the difference between the business analyst and the product owner, right? The word product owner comes from when we are doing Scrum, right? If we are not doing Scrum, then there will be no product owner. So product owner is a key role for a Scrum team. So we have product owner, we have Scrum Master, then we have the technical team or development team, as you might say. In a Scrum team where we don't have a product owner, the BA comfortably takes up the role of a product owner, right? The BA comfortably takes up the role of a product owner, because everything a product owner can do, you can also do it as a BA. They are part of the key knowledge areas in business analysis. So you can do everything a product owner can do. The only difference between a product owner and BA is that the product owner can only function in a Scrum setting. So it's when we have a Scrum setting that the product owner can function, and I have some specific tasks that has to do with managing the backlog. In managing the backlog, you are prioritizing what do we need to do first in terms of business priorities or risks or compliance or whatever way your company wants to use to prioritize what they want to ship, right? So you can only work within the delivery team when we want to deliver the project. That is where the product owner comes in, right? So in that delivery phase, if you are doing Scrum, as a product owner, you are like the owner of the product. You take ownership of everything to ensure that what is delivered is what the business needs, right? So you are the one that's going to validate every demo that the team is going to ship for each sprint. You're the one that is going to ensure that the user stories are accurate and they've been prioritized. You're the one that's going to tell the team what they should build for the next sprint and all of that. So basically managing backlog and also validating or giving approvals. These are just like an overview of what the product owner does. But for a business analyst, your job transcends beyond just the delivery of that project. Even at the point of conceptualization, a business analyst can be embedded from the enterprise level. If a company like Shell wants to do a process improvement initiative, they don't need a product owner, they need a business analyst. So also if a company like Microsoft wants to deliver a product, they also need a business analyst to capture initial requirements from the clients, right? The product owner basically don't do extensive requirement elicitation, but requirement elicitation largely sits with the business analyst. Even in a team where we have a product owner, the business analyst can go and do the initial heavy lifting of the requirement documentation with BRD and FRD, then give it to the product owner before the product owner can now use those things to populate the product backlog that the team will need to build in each sprint. So just have it at the back of your mind that if you're a BA, you can comfortably do the job of a product owner, but it's difficult for a product owner to comfortably do the job of a business analyst because the job of a business analyst is beyond the delivery of that project. You are involved in the delivery, but your job transcends beyond the delivery. But product owner is solely focused on the delivery of that particular solution. I don't know if that gives you some bit of clarity, Ademi.
Thanks, Genesis. I believe so. Ademi, if you are clear, please, you can drop it on the chat as well. All right, let me call on one of the person that raised their hand up. Balogun Akorede, if you can unmute and ask your question.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
thank you so much for the session and for the information. So for me, I've done business analysis training before, and I've gone for a couple of interviews. After those interviews, of course, I had some of those interviews in Nigeria, and I still feel inadequate, kind of, because you see, there's a lot of things that comes into people trying to add so many things to business analysis. So I have an interview where somebody is saying, have you worked on anything about API before? Have you worked on? So it makes everything so clumsy. What is this training going to? Is this training going to? I don't know. I don't know the structure of the training, how robust it will be, because at the end of the day, it makes me feel that something might be adequate in the training I have done, in the past. If I'm not able to, yes, I did training, I also did project, but maybe those projects were just on the, just very, small project and all that. What will the training structure be in terms of being very elaborate? I also observed that some of the jobs I've seen, even UK jobs and all that, there's this, feeling about data. I know the Genesis has talked about the fact that analytics is basically for, data when it comes to SQL is basically for analytics, but there's some jobs requirement that when you see them, they will also be asking you stuff about, SQL and all that. How do we marry all of this together? Thank you.
All right, Genesis, you want to take this?
All right, sure. I understand your frustration, right? I was once there. But the beauty of it is, as I mentioned earlier on, if you take a stock of most of these job requirements you see online, and you compare 10 job requirements, you see that there's some likelihood in what they're saying. Now, when they tell you you need to know SQL and some of this technical stuff, right? To be honest with you, I've been working as a business analyst for over 6 to 7 years, and I've never used SQL before. I've never written a query before, right? They just use these things to screen people out. They basically use these things as a form to screen people, to filter through those they want to do, they want to interview, or those they want to move ahead with. The coming to the API aspects, right? That now relates to the industry you want to work in. Most times, when you are trying to get into an industry, they require to have some level of understanding about that industry. For instance, IT, they'll mention things like SQL, API. If you go to medical, they mention things about having understanding of clinical processes and all of that. As a PA, what is the business about clinical processes? But these things are specific to the domain that you want to get into. And it is required of you as a business analyst to be able to have some level of understanding. You are not going to be an expert in API because your duty is not API. It's the developers that will concern themselves about API. You're not going to be an expert in SQL, right? But if you can just talk about SQL from an understanding point of view, you're never going to use SQL in your day-to-day work as a business analyst. You will never use that as in your day-to-day work. But telling them that you have knowledge of what SQL is, or have knowledge of how APIs work is the basic you can have as a business analyst. But bet to me, you're not going to use them at any point in time in your job. You're not going to use them. So even though you know how to write the code, you're not going to write in code as a business analyst. You will never. I've seen jobs that they will tell you that knowledge of Java. I've seen those jobs, knowledge of Java. And when I go for such interview and they ask me, do I have a knowledge of Java? I'll tell them, well, I know Java is a programming language and it is a type of programming language, right? But I know that in my job, I'm not going to be using it. Probably, I guess, Java is a stack, right? Is the language stack that you guys use in building solutions in your organization. But having that basic knowledge of what Java is will just help you. So when you apply for jobs and you see those job descriptions, go ahead to apply. When you go for an interview, just read up on the basic knowledge about that particular piece of domain that is strange to you. Read it up. You can do a 5-minute YouTube video to have an understanding of what API is. API is very easy to understand, depending on whoever explains to you. Same thing with SQL. Knowing what select is, know what's insert and all of those things, what they are. You don't need to be writing all those things in your job. You don't write them at all, and I've never written them. I've never seen any business analyst that writes SQL queries in their day-to-day job. No, there's none.
Thank you.
Thank you. Balogun, has that answered your question?
Yes. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome, Balogun. Thanks. I'm going to call on Omo. Omo's iPhone. If you can unmute and talk, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Akim. I want to ask a question because I really have no knowledge when it comes to business analyst, but I am very willing to learn, and I believe it's going to be. I believe everything is possible. But please, I want to ask a question. A business analyst, okay, just for example, that somebody has his own business, probably in Nigeria. You understand that it needs to be monitoring via the CCTV. Can that same person work as a business analyst in another country, as in doing these two things the same time, as in his business analysis a time-consuming job? Thank you.
All right, Genesis, you want to take that?
I did not get that. I was distracted at some point. I had the part of if business analysis is a time-consuming job, but I think there was a question that led to that. If you can recall, please.
I mean, if somebody that is working as a business analyst has his own personal job that is monitoring in Nigeria via CCTV, just to make sure that what he has in Nigeria is going well, can that same person work, as in do these two jobs at the same time? As in is business analysis as a job, as in a time-consuming job?
So I think the simple question to that is basically if in terms of time management, how you be able to manage your time, right? And also the kind of company you're working with, that's the company that's offering the business analysis job. Of course, business analyst consumes your time to work, right? Because you need to learn a lot of things at a very fast pace. When you get a job as a business analyst, unlike most careers, like if you're a junior software developer, they know that you're a junior software developer and they'll take it easy with you. But if you're a business analyst, even though you're a junior business analyst, company wants you to start solving those problems for them, to start identifying their problems. So you need to actually get hands-on with things, right? So it all depends on, one, do you still want to hold on to this job when you have a job that offers maybe a better pay and gives you opportunities to grow at a very fast rate? Or do you want to do both of them at the same time? It all depends on the amount of time you have as a person. If I know that it's just for me to look at the CCTV screen and know what is going on, I can do other things. But if I need to be on the screen 24/7 with my eyes on that screen to monitor what is happening, whatever thing I'm trying to secure, then you need to make a decision whether you have to take business analysis or continue with your CCTV related job. But the fact is, it all depends on your time management, how you manage your time. And also, if the company you're working with is in the Americas, maybe US, Canada, or South America, there's this time zone gap. So you might use the day for your CCTV related work and use later in the day for your business analysis. But if it is the same time zone with you, right, like how we have the UK, which is probably 1 hour, which we are 1 hour ahead of, right? It's going to consume your time, but it depends on how you manage your time anyway and how busy your current job is.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Omo. All right, Techno Pop 6. Can you ask your question? Techno, you raised your hand. You are muted. You just unmute now, but you are muted again. Can you unmute and talk? Yeah, you can talk now.
I can talk now.
Yep.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Bounty Gabriel Pepple. Mr. King, I want to first of all appreciate you for taking us on this very wide and calm approach so that we can understand exactly what business analysis is. My question is, of course, while you were taking us on the first segment, you said we could, it's not as if you're asking us to drop whatever we're doing now because we're pursuing greener pasture. But if peradventure we missed some of the time after we have hooked on to join this training and we're not able to perhaps meet all the training either because of one engagement or network situation or the other, how can we get the package that we may have lost in any of the training?
All the sessions are recorded. So even if you missed a session, you still get a recorded version of it and you can still ask your question afterwards. So that is not a problem at all because you actually need the recording to, at your own convenient time to go over the recording and do some research based on the recording as well anyway.
Okay. So the second question is, I could overheard several tools that are usable in business analysis of jobs. Are there supposed to be any type of standard operation practice tools, sort of somebody who is like it's an engineering or project? If I'm coming to do a BA full-time, what tools would I be handy with to play around, or what sector would I be desiring to do my BA in order to be effective?
All right, before I hand it over to Genesis to take that further as well, when it comes to tooling, there are hundreds of tools out there, But what we do is, because it's impossible to learn all the tools out there, but there are
That's
certain
correct.
ones that are key to know or to learn.
Uh-huh.
And those are the ones that we pick and train you on. Take for example, Jira, right?
Okay.
If you are trained on Jira and after the training, you start applying for jobs, and where you landed that role, they are using Azure DevOps, which is different
Okay.
from the Jira that they've used to train you. But because of your knowledge on Jira, you will be able to function effectively on Azure DevOps because they are
Okay.
the same thing.
Okay.
So what we do is, like back home, they'll tell you if you learn to drive using a Volkswagen B2, those old versions,
All very good.
there is no car you won't be able to drive. Same thing goes to this tooling. They might be different when it comes to the naming, but the way they works is actually similar. So if you know one and master one, then even if they are not using that one that you master somewhere else, you'll still be able to cope with whatever the tool that they are using. I'm a typical example as well. I was trained on C#. I think my second role when I was changing role was a Java. They shortlisted me for a Java role. And I didn't put it on my CV that I know Java. And they asked me that, have you used Java before? I said, no, I'm always willing to learn. But those people at that time, I didn't know the similarity between Java and C#, But those interviewing me know that if this guy can use C# or he has used C# before, then Java will be like a
Yeah.
walk in the park for him. So that is what we do. So we cherry pick the tools that we use, so that even if at the end of the day they are not using that tool where you're working, at least you'll be able to function with any other tools based on the knowledge that you've gotten. Genesis, I don't know whether you want to expand on that.
Yeah, you've done justice to that, but just to add, right? In terms of tool, all of these tools is just different companies that have them, but the underlying principle on how to use them is what I want to teach you. So once you know the underlying principle of how to write a user story, whether you are using Jira or Azure DevOps, is still the same way you're going to write it. If you know the underlying principle of how to draw technical models, right? Whether you're using Microsoft Visio or you're using Draw.io or Lucidchart, is still the same underlying principle. So we have tools that we've been able to list out, which are industry standards across board, but you can't learn everything in a month. We can't teach you all the whole tools in a month, right? But we have the ones that we use for the project. But what we make sure we teach you are the underlying principles to perform any task, so that whatever tool you are using or your new employer will be using, you don't have any problem to struggle making use of them.
Okay, thank you. Would I have opportunity to take the last question?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
All right. One of my last perhaps could be that during the segments where you are speaking, Akin and Genesis, you have always mentioned the terminologies that are related to agile practice. I don't understand about BA and agile practices, Scrum, Sprint, Backlog, retrospective, as case may be. Is it that every BA man will be faced with agile? Hello?
Yeah, Genesis, over to you.
Yeah, so why do we use, I think the question is, why are we talking IT, or should I say agile, right? So there is no specific reason. Business analysts work in different domains, different domains. I've worked as a business analyst for Lafarge. I think we all know Lafarge Group. That's in charge of supply. Yes, I've worked as a BA for Lafarge in a contract basis, right? So what am I looking for with company that produces cement? Because it is a business. Anything that is called a business, a company, I find relevance in this as a business analyst. But why are we talking about IT, or why was our presentation today biased towards IT? It's because IT is like the new oil industry we have today, right? Every career that is related to IT is actually booming. So the demand the increased demand for software developers, business analysts, product managers is as a result of the IT industry, or should I say agile concepts that have overthrown the IT world. So that should not cloud your mind and feel maybe you're only relevant as a VA in an agile or IT company. You can work anywhere, even in the hospital, even in government parastatals, whatever industry, that there is a problem to be solved. A business analyst is needed to solve those problems.
Okay.
Techno.
Thank you so much. Please, thank you. To grow when we get engaged in the class.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for that. So if you want to, probably, if you still have any question, please raise your hand. Or probably after the session you just remember something and you want to ask me, particularly the screenshot, you can take a screenshot of the numbers on your screen now. You can WhatsApp, you can call me, or Instagram at Learn with Pride. And later on for the CV, it's Career Deck Limited, but that will be later in the future anyway. So please, you can take a screenshot or note the WhatsApp number down just in case you remember something after the session. Sorry if I, Ikechukwu Ejiagba, please. Sorry, pardon me if I didn't say that right.
Yeah, no, thank you. My name is Ikechukwu Ejiagba. You are actually right. I want to appreciate you and celebrate you for such a good lesson.
Thank you.
I have challenge, and the challenge has to do with the payment schedule. I will be frank with you. I just fell into this. Okay, I got a new job, and I know the job is not paying well, like 100,000, and I want to do this. To be frank, why I want to do it, because I'm seeing prospects within myself. I don't know anything in IT except the computer lesson I did in 2006. That's 2006. That's when I did one computer lesson. I'm a science inclined, and I know if I can bend down and learn, I can be able to do this. But my challenge is in the payment, because once you mentioned this, I was able to use calculator to check pounds to naira and how far I'm going to pay. Like I said, on 9th January, being my birthday, I just got a new job. And when you talk about Sunday to have 20%, myself is zero there. Now, when you talk about being able to pay within 4 months, I will also tell you I am zero there. Now, is there a way I can be managed, even if it is okay? Don't start with us now. By maybe March, pay 20%. Then you can come to class and continue. Why I'm saying this is this. I believe that opportunity like this may not be able to come. And I also know that as the days goes by, things keep increasing. So if I can have such an understanding now and a special consideration, it then means that my amount is fixed and I will be able to pay. How can I be, or how can somebody like me who wants to learn, who is ready to learn, who is capable to also learn, be helped in a time like this when financial issue is the challenge? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ikechukwu. I fully understand where you're coming from. And when setting the price compared to my competitors out there or our competitors out there who are doing the same kind of a thing, and even the standard is not up to what we provide, I tried as much as possible to set my price low, and I understand the financial situation, different people with different financial needs. I fully understand as well. But what I will tell you is, for the training, The training occurs almost like, okay, one will be starting in February. Actually, the start date for this training is on the 4th of February, the first Saturday of February. So like one training will be starting in February. I think another one will be starting probably end of March, thereabout. But what I can do is, if you see the number on your screen, take note of that number and private chat me, and we can talk about that further and
Thank you
see
so much.
how we can make that happen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you, sir.
No worries. Sorry if I say this. Okay, let me just, Leo, can you unmute and ask your question? Leo.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for bringing me up. Please, let me just say the point. I think I have about 2 or 3 questions to ask. Okay, my first question is, in a year, how many sections do you normally take on in a year? Like, how many sections do you normally have? Since you said the first one
Probably
is
like, probably like 5 to 6 sessions.
Okay, that's fine. That means after February, when is the next one after February?
That will be end of March.
End of March. Okay, that is fine. Okay, that's one. Then my second question is, what are the requirements for this? Requirements in the sense that is there a particular type of system that a business analyst is supposed to have? Like possibly the kind of software that are going to be used, what are the specifications, so that someone that is coming for this program is going to be ready. I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah.
So before coming, you make sure that you're ready before the program starts.
All right. All you need is a working laptop,
Okay.
and your availability. All you need is a working laptop. You don't need to download you don't need to pre-download anything on your laptop, no. But you need a working laptop to function. It's not something that can be done on the phone. You don't want to get a job, and it's not, you won't be working on your phone. So all you need is a working laptop. If you cannot afford it, you can consider probably a laptop like dual core processor from probably like i3, i5. But just know that you need a working laptop. That is number one. The number two, as I said, is your making yourself available, making sacrifice, probably if you're the type that goes out probably every night to 5G01, probably that has to stop for the next 3 months. We need to make a sacrifice for this to work. So for this to work, we need to make a sacrifice. If you're the type that likes watching Netflix every single day, that needs to stop for the next 3 months. And after 3 months, you can continue. After you've achieved what you want to achieve, you can continue with your daily life, with your daily routine, that. But yes, the most important is your working laptop, and make yourself available to embark on the journey.
Okay. Thank you very much. For myself specifically, I'm currently doing my master's in the UK, University of Hull. I'm doing MXc, and I did my master's in advertising and marketing. And before now, back in Nigeria, I was actually into e-com, digital marketing, and I think that this business analyst is something that is going to really fit in will fit in properly for me with the knowledge I have about businesses and the rest. But that apart, then when it comes to work experience and referencing you talked about, I know that with the little knowledge here in the UK, I know that work experience is something that is very, very important here in the UK. Very, very important. Like, it's something they look out for very well. So now, is it the work experience that you're talking about? Is it something that is going to be valid and that we have to put in our CV?
Yes, no. Yes, that's the good thing about it. It's not, you are not doing a capstone project, right? It's not a capstone project. It's an actual project that can go on your CV, The whole point is for you to know how everything works, and you can defend it at the interview. So yes, you can put it on your CV, and I will give you a reference for that.
Okay. Okay. I think that would be all. That would be all for now.
All right. Thanks, Leo.
Thank you very much.
All right. Quickly, Kenneth, you raised your hand.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Kenneth.
Okay, so the last speaker has spoken my mind. I just wanted to ask after if it's an actual project, one which you've just answered, and also referencing because it is a big deal right here in the UK.
Yeah.
Yes. So
also, just to answer, sorry, Kenny, in terms of referencing as well, I know Ayatollah spoke on the call today, and when Ayatollah needed referencing for someone she has worked with, like a supervisor, she has worked with in business analysis. Her company reached out to me last week, and they requested me to provide referencing to Ayatollah, and I was able to give her that reference. So referencing is not an issue, but for me as a person, if you go through the training and I see you actually put in the work, I'll be proud to give you my reference. Then we're proud to be proud to give you reference for any job, provided you put in the work. So you need to put in the work because our brand and reputation is at stake if you don't put in the work and then you just get a job and maybe you get there and it becomes that every reference that is coming from Larry Pride is not credible. So putting in the work would give us that confidence that yes, you're going to present the brand, getting that job, and then that company can reach out to us at any point in time to give more reference to more students that get job over there. So reference is not a problem. The main issue is, are you willing to put in the work? I say for every cohort, put in the work. You will certainly get the job.
all right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Kenneth. Ayokunle Adeyemi.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ayokunle.
Yeah, please, I was going to ask, the life project I will be working on, what sector will you be focused on? You know, people have different backgrounds. So, for example, my background is IT, right? So, yes, I'm going to work on the life project. Is it going to be focused? Is it going to be IT based or in another sector? That's my question.
All right, so the life project will be IT focused. It will focus on IT, but bear in mind that the practical, that is just because that's the project that we have going. But bear in mind that you've gone through the practical and all of that. So that doesn't mean it's only in IT sector you can function. You can function anywhere, whether IT or non-IT sector as a business analyst after going through that process.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for that. Let me take a few questions online, but if you still have questions, you can raise your hand and I'll answer it. Please, can we have the recorded version? If you want the recorded version, there are actually two ways you can get it. You can join the WhatsApp group. It will be shared on the WhatsApp group. And also on YouTube, you can search for Learn with Pride. It will be posted on Learn with Pride. So if you follow Learn with Pride on YouTube as well, yes, so you'll be notified when this recording is posted on YouTube. Just search for Learn with Pride and follow. All right. Yep. Does the live project count for experience on the job? Yes, it does count. I think from Oluyemisi, I think Genesis has answered it. Does it mean a BA doesn't necessarily need IT skills like SQL, Power BI, coding, and the like to perform his roles? All these tools that you just mentioned are data analytics or analysis tools. You know, it's not really related to a business analysis tools, and that doesn't mean the other tools that the business analysis will be using they are not IT. So what you just mentioned now is related to data analysis, SQL, Power BI, coding. When you work, and this is not the only thing that is being referred to as an IT skill. No, you know, these are just the tools that is required for you to perform this particular role. So like SQL, data analysis, analyst uses Power BI, Tableau, and the likes, you know. But when as a BA, you don't do coding, you know, that's not your job to do coding. You don't do coding, but you still work in IT, if you understand. I don't know whether that is clear enough. Oluyemisi, you can unmute if that is not clear enough. Would you be able to give a work reference for Ireland, because I'm joining from Ireland? Yeah, it is anywhere now, whether you join from, but the reference will still be a UK reference. Don't forget that you can be in Ireland and work for a company in the UK. You can be in Nigeria and work for a company in the UK. So where the referencing is coming up, it's not the country the referencing is coming up from is not a problem, you know, as long as you are getting a reference for what is on your CV. The referencing will be coming from the UK. So whether you are in Ireland, you are in Nigeria, you are in Switzerland, you are in Zimbabwe, it doesn't really matter, because you can work remotely with these companies, if you understand that. All right, that's for Yetunde. Yetunde, that's for you. All right, you made mention of BA working to the product and up to delivery and beyond. Are you expected to attend Scrum meetings since you are the domain expert? Just trying to clarify this. Ademi, yes, because if you are working in IT and if you are working in agile delivery method, yes, you'll be required to attend the Scrum meetings. Scrum meeting is just one of the agile rituals that is being performed when you're working in Scrum. You know, it's like a daily stand-up. You have to be there as well. And other agile rituals as well, like sprint planning, sprint retrospective, sprint refinement, you have to be there, you know. Yes, everybody, all members of the Scrum team is required to attend all agile rituals. I hope that has answered that question, Ademi. Oh, sorry, Genesis has actually answered that question. Please, what specific tools and techniques will this course cover? Genesis, please. Genesis, are you there? Oh, I don't think. All right. Genesis has dropped off for one reason or the other. All right. So tools that this course will be covered, you're talking tools like, I'm calling Genesis because he knows more than me when it comes to this. I know about Jira, I know about Confluence, I know about, is it Basmatic or sorry, or Bas, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Is it Balsitic or something like that? Something ball anyway. Yeah. All the tools, because that is one of the that is very important to me as well when it comes to tooling. We try as much as possible to expose you to industry standard tools. And for the refinement, although it's the Scrum people that will be using this more, but at least this can still go on your CV as well, because you're part of a Scrum team. Are tools like Idea Board that you use for your sprint retrospective, and tools like Planet Poker that you use for your sprint planning and all of that. So yeah, but I don't know how to raise hand. Okay, I want to ask, but I don't know how to raise hand. All right. Okay. I think you've already asked your question, Ikechukwu. Please, we will need the materials. Are you talking about the video, the recording? If you are referring to the recording, Ugochukwu Pirates, I just made mention you can join the WhatsApp group, or if you go on If you go on YouTube, just search for Learn with Pride. The video of this session should be available by tomorrow on the channel. All right.
I have asked my questions.
Yes. Are the hands-on project UK related? It's not about, say, project is not about whether it's UK or is in Ireland or is in Zimbabwe or is in Nigeria. My project can be in Nigeria. It's not the project that matters, but what you need to learn while on that project, that really matters. The location of the project doesn't really matter, but what you need to learn while on that project, that's the most important. Yeah, the UK, it's UK project, but it's not important in this scenario. Where the project is not really important, but the process, what needs to be learned while you're working on this project. The project might be in Nigeria, and it's still an IT related project. It's the same way you're going to carry out in Nigeria, you're going to carry out in the UK. So I hope you understand what I just tried to explain. Please, is it possible to get the recording? Yes, I just made mentioning you can join on YouTube. You can search for Learn with Pride, or you can join the WhatsApp group. You get the recording. Money issues, I fully understand, but don't forget that we still need to invest in ourselves. For you to move from point A to point B, we need to, they say nothing good comes free. If I'm offering this course for free, you surely know there will be a catch somewhere, but because you can never get a good value for something if you're not paying for it. It is that money that you're paying for it that will serve as your motivation factor. That I paid so a month. They must not tell me to do this. I need to ask. I need to be proactive because it's my money. It's my hard-earned money. And that is how you get the result out of it. I understand the money issue is everywhere, whether in Nigeria, Ghana, UK. We are all hustling for this money, but at the same time, we need to invest in ourselves. And I fully understand. You can WhatsApp me if there's any way I can help. I'll help. But yes, nothing good comes free. Where would the training take place? This is fully remote. Amino, I'm sure one of the reasons why you joined this session or why you are looking to transition is because you want to start working remotely. You want to be at the comfort of your home and work. So same thing with the training and the project. Everything will be at the comfort of your home because it's going to be virtual. We are trying to get you into that mode so that when you eventually land that remote job, it's not new to you because you've been conducting all your meetings, whether via Zooms or Teams, anyway, on the project that you did with us. So it won't be new. So the location, it will be online for this training. And again, the actual 3-month journey will be starting on the 4th of February. That is the first Saturday in February. So if you want to join, kindly message the number on your screen. Price again, please. It's $499, the original cost. In Naira, it's 400,000. If you're applying the discount, that will be 320. In Naira, that will be 400 in pounds. And as I said earlier on, half payment, it's only half payment that is due to start. And the other half can be paid within 4 to 5 weeks, just before you starting on a live project. Please, can you send the link for your YouTube page? 1 second, let me see what I can get it quickly. 1 second. Leo, are you raising a new hand or is that the same hand you raised earlier on?
Please, it's a new hand, please.
It's a new hand?
Yeah.
All right, what's your question?
Okay. Really, what caught my interest with Learn with Pride? There's this reel I watched I think there was a time you went live, I saw on your IG handle that you said something. You said that after taking up this business analysis training, that there is a kind of an add-up that you can do. Either you say something like software testing, where you could still do something like that, or it will be added to the program. I can't remember exactly how you stated that, but I know you said something like that. If you could remember, you said after the program you can do software testing, maybe for a short period, just to also add up to your CV that, okay, I did this, and I don't know if you can remember, maybe you can actually throw more light on that. That was like my last question before I had to end my question section the first time. So I don't know.
Yeah,
You remember you could add.
Although I can't really remember, but it all depends on you. If you are looking to, because as I said, we have almost all the training: software testing, project management, business analysis, and all of that. And while on the project as well, you get to work with each and every one of them while on the project as well. So but it depends on you. If you want to really spread your wings and fly, if you want to learn more than one, you can learn. It all depends on you. It all depends on you. Actually,
Okay.
that's what I'll say. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. But please, my name is, like you've seen my name. My name is Bedona. I'm interested for the second wave, which you said is going to be starting by March, and I will still come back and tell you that I am still up for the £400 payment. I hope I will still get the discount for the second wave.
God spare our lives till then.
Amen. Okay, thank you very much.
No problem. Kola Wale Daniel, please unmute, please.
Good evening, everybody. Please, I want to ask just a question. I want to ask if you are already learning, let me say, what's it called? If you're already learning Google Analytics, is there a way? Is it still necessary for you to learn this business analysis also? I'm just asking.
Yeah, it's two different things. They are different from each other. So yeah, it's completely different from each other. So it depends on the line you want to go. But business analysis is different from Google Analytics. I don't even know much what that entails, but I know they are different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You are welcome, sir.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going through. I've pasted the URL for the YouTube if you want to join, and you can as well see other taster sessions that we've had in the past on the YouTube channel if you go on there. So as I said, the class will be fully virtual. I've sent the YouTube page. Can we get the WhatsApp link? I found the WhatsApp link. Okay, let me send the WhatsApp link again. So the WhatsApp link. So everyone, I just send the WhatsApp link again. Or sorry, let me resend the YouTube one. I didn't send it to everyone. So the YouTube one, that is the YouTube one for everyone. All right. As anyone, can you please resend your YouTube channel? I just did. How much total? How much are you paying in Naira? Garuba. After the discount, that will be 320. Half of that is due, and half is due. The other half is due in the 4 to 5 weeks after starting the training, but before starting the project, the balance is due. So for I believe everybody can see my screen back. So yeah, if you have any other questions after this session you want to ask, please kindly message me either on WhatsApp, you can call me, or on Instagram. You can reach out to us. We will surely get back to you. If there's no other question, thanks everyone for taking your time to attend today's session. Really, really appreciate that. I hope you've learned one or two things about business analysis, and I hope to see you on the journey as well. It's going to be money well spent. Money well spent. So what are you waiting for? Let's make A when the sun still shines. You have the support with us. You have everything that is needed to succeed on the journey. So what are you waiting for? Contact us and let's see how we can work together. So thanks from me to you. Hope to see you on the journey. Hope to walk the walk together. But for now, I'll say thank you and God bless. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Bye-bye.